getting started. Think we might be in the right place at the right time. Just confirming that. And we're good. Hooray! Let's do the thing. So I am just working on a map that I started the other day. My family went out to Boston Pizza for the Riders game, and I am not a football person, so it was kind of like, oh my goodness, spare me. So I started working on this instead. I am incredibly grateful that my family is patient with my lack of football caring, priority. I'm not sure what word to use there. But yeah, they didn't mock me too hard while I was working on this as opposed to paying attention to the game. So I am happy to be here this morning. I've had my coffee. Things are good. It's actually finally a sunny day here. It's been raining almost nonstop for the last few weeks. And the lack of sunshine, I think, is starting to make us all go a little stir crazy. But today looks like it's going to be good. So I'm excited about that. So I just want to get this map kind of further along today. And I'd like to put it up for my patrons on Patreon. I'm currently trying to decide if it's going to be a color map or just a black and white kind of scout map. I'm not completely sure right now. Could go either way. Maybe I'll do both. Maybe I'll scan it once it's done in black and white and add a color version after. I'm working on Rhodia dot paper for the first time and finding it really interesting to have something that is a grid kind of in the background of what I'm doing. I'm not sure if I find it helpful or distracting, given that I do a lot of organic landforms as opposed to walls, like how you might want them for like a dungeon, for like a dungeon map when you're doing something that more geometric shapes. But I think I like the texture of the paper and the quality of the paper. It's certainly a joyful thing to draw on, which is great. I'm all for supplies that make the experience pleasant. So that's definitely a thing for me. I'm using the Micron brush pen to do this part of my trees. I'm really enjoying the way that it changes the line weight depending on how you hold the pen. I just find that it gives a lot of really organic changes to what I'm doing, and I dig that. It's a lot of very easy variation. I don't think I would have tried this pen without Myrna saying, hey, you need to try this. So I did, and I like it. I think it's pretty good. I don't know that I have anything terribly clever to say this morning, but that's okay. This site is not about being clever, it's about getting the work done. Somebody asked me about that the other day, like, why do you live stream? And really it's about making sure that I'm accountable for getting my work done, and also just to kind of create space for sharing in that process. It made me really happy when Brian was working on his map during the stream last week, because I like the idea of us kind of all hanging out and working together. Makes me happy. Morning, Gary. How are you this morning? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was excited to put the stream together this morning. I know the next 2 weeks are going to be pretty chaotic for me over here, so I was just like, oh boy, I want a chance to connect with my people. Hi, Myrna. How are you this morning? Sometimes I feel a little bit like, was it Polka Dot Door or Romper Room that was like, I see Gary and Myrna? Polka Dot Door? Yeah, I think it's one of the two of them. Nice. I'm super happy for you that you get some peace and quiet to yourself this morning. Hi, Max. Thank you for the compliment. Thanks, little buddy. What kind of art are you starting with this morning, Myrna? Also, thank you for my jellies. Dave was like, why do you have a tube? What's in the tube? And I'm like, you can open the tube. It's from Myrna. There's nothing in it that you can't see, I'm sure. He's like, no, I don't open your mail. And I was like, well, then your curiosity will remain unassuaged until I open it. I think it just about drove him mad. Oh, hi, Ashton. I didn't know you were there. How are you? It's the simple things, right? Yeah, sometimes Dave deserves all the suspense. Awesome. I look forward to seeing your abstract swirl thingies. I'm coming in. I'm not specifically sure Art Walk is on the menu. Um, I'm coming in for a quick thunder run tomorrow with Lisa to get some stuff handled. And then Dave and I are coming in on Sunday to do some stuff with my parents for their anniversary. Um, if I have time to art walk, I would like to art walk. I haven't art walked in a while. I think that would be great. Um, but I do not know if I am going, in fact, to be able to make that happen. I'm assuming you're gonna go. If there's awesome stuff, will you send me pictures? Yeah, I didn't remember until Zad was posting that she was going to do the thing. Gary, I'll try. I can't promise it'll be tomorrow, but I can probably make it happen on Sunday. I think we're spending the night on Sunday and coming back on Monday, so that should be more than doable in that context, but I don't think tomorrow will be. Thanks, Holmes. I would appreciate it. Yes, that might be not a great combination. Yay, Delta! I'm hoping to make it there. Probably tomorrow, because they won't be open on Sunday. Have you played with your new brushes yet? Oh, nice. I'm glad that it's going to be a little more chill for you. We're kind of in that holy crap, Dave is leaving in 2 weeks cycle of things. So he had a live fire range for work that started at 2 a.m. yesterday. And he's got one that starts at 1 a.m. on Saturday. And then after that, he's done. That's his last bit of work before he heads away. So He's in the office frantically trying to get everything handled for his handover. I've met his replacement. His replacement is a super great guy who lives behind us, actually, in one of the other queues. So Tony is going to actually help me do some dog training with Saxon, which I'm excited about. Because Sax is a really lovely puppy, but he's not always the best behaved, and I don't really know how to start fixing that. So Tony says he can help, which I'm excited about. So drawing geography dots on dot grid paper is weird. I'm not sure 100% why, but it is. I feel like I have to cover them all up, even though I can edit them out with Photoshop, so this is very odd. Yes, it is a Rhodia pad. It's the big one. That guy. I bought it the last time I was in Regina because I was like, I really want to start experimenting with drawing dungeon maps and isometric maps. I bought a pad of ISO paper too. It's buried under my table right now though. So I'm going to try to do a few of those on my own before I branch out to doing them on the stream. Just because I'm terrified I'm going to get them wrong. And then I will look like an idiot in front of the whole world. Because I have a terrible phobia of doing things for the first time in front of people. I don't care for the experience at all. It makes me very anxious. But yeah, there's a cartographer that I really respect named Nicholas Wendt, and he's been doing some really amazing ISO dungeon stuff lately, and I just think it's really cool. I don't know, like, if it's something I'm gonna want to do a lot of. I just gotta try it to find out. But I love how it looks, like, and I think I can learn a lot from it that might be applicable to doing landscape maps. Even if I don't actually do them for dungeon purposes, I guess. I have to say, I sure love the Rhodia paper, though. Like, I was working on this, I think I started out the video saying, at Boston Pizza during the last Riders game because my in-laws were down and everybody wanted to go watch the football game, and I don't care about football. So I was like, well, I still need to go and be social, so I will bring my notepad and I will just draw something and keep myself amused. And so I'm doing the heavy black border to start, and Dave was like, isn't that going to bleed through? And it didn't at all, and he was like, mind blown. So, super stoked about that. he's kind of trying to clue into this whole art thing for me. It's definitely not something he's used to thinking about at all. It's pretty adorable. Although I bet you he would resent me using adorable. Sometimes I do it just to troll him. Myrna, have you watched Umbrella Academy yet? Fair. It is quite good. I liked it. Honestly, there's not a lot of TV that's not predictable, so I don't really feel like that's a criticism that I'm too worried about. I keep forgetting it was a comic series first. Yeah, I mean that's a thing. The one of the things that I was studying for my thesis was Robert Schreschner's performance theory, which is the idea that there are no original actions in human behavior. That every action or reaction that you have is a combination of actions and reactions that you have seen performed in front of you, reconfigured in ways that are appropriate for your situation. And I believe that that's a thing. Like, I found the argument very convincing because we tend to model behavior for other people and you use the reactions based on what you know. Um, and I think that that's very true for storytelling and stuff too, is that you use the story formats and themes and metaphors and stuff to which you are accustomed, which means that there probably isn't a whole lot that's new under the sun, just new presentations of ideas that work, that are effective in telling stories. So that was a good and useful way to think about things for me. Oh, I'm glad you're liking it. I was really worried that you were gonna be like, what the hell, Shay? Why do you like this kind of thing? I really want the next book to come out. I'm just like, come on, make it happen. No, sorry, man. The second one is not out yet. I've been trying to convince myself to read his Furies of Caldera in the meantime, but I tried the first one and I did not love it. So my desire to pick up the second one has been not as kindled as it could be in that situation. What else have I read lately that's been really good? In the epic fantasy area, there's a trilogy by Mercedes Lackey and James Mallory. What is the first book called? I'm reading the second one again right now, which is To Light a Candle. I think the first one is When Darkness Falls. And they're like definitely epic fantasy, mages and stuff like that, but it's super fun. I like the character building, I like the world building. I think the most interesting and challenging piece of fantasy fiction I've read this last year was The Poppy War, but that is not a lighthearted read. That goes, it tries to answer the question like, how would war be different if you added mages to warfare? And it's set in a fictionalized version of the Opium Wars in China, and gets pretty graphic in certain places. But like, talk about a compelling story. It was literally something I could not put down until I was done reading it, and it has stayed with me like in a very, very real way. It's one of those books that I highly recommend, but I totally caveat like, if you are not prepared to have a very gut punchy kind of experience, don't read this book right now. Hi, Epic Art. I believe this is the first time that you've come to hang out with us. How's it going? Stalled on the last of which one, Gary? The To Light a Candle books? Oh, the Furies. I mean, you got almost all the way to the end. That's got to count for something. Have you ever read any Kelly Armstrong, Myrna? She's a good holiday read for me. I like her character building quite a bit. She's got really, really strong female protagonists, which I dig. Plus, she's Canadian, so, like, yay for that. Her Otherworld books are really good, and there's a lot of them. I think there's 13 in that series, so if you like it, there's more. Her Rockton books are really fun. They're more of a low magic. Well, I guess, like, the Otherworld books are paranormal, dealing with, like, vampires and werewolves and stuff in a way that I thought wasn't bullshit, so that helps. The Rockton books are kind of like the setup for The Village meets, like, the penal colonies of Australia. People who need a fresh start go to this place, and it's kind of witness protection-y, and then there's, mysteries and stuff, which I really like. But I like detective stories, so it's definitely a thing of mine. She has a set, Omens, Rituals, Deceptions, Visions, that's based on Welsh mythology. And that's fun. I enjoyed that one. We've been reading The Wheel of Time, but honestly, I don't think The Wheel of Time is your jam. I think it would probably frustrate you. And by reading, I mean listening to in the car when we travel. Hi, how are you? Yeah, Nynaeve totally tugs her braid furiously. I'm amazed that woman has any hair left, to be very honest with you. I've also never seen her name spelled because we're listening to it as audiobooks, so that's awesome. That makes me happy. Okay, have fun with children on the playground. I love you. Are you finally settled where you're supposed to be settled, Amy? Or are you still on the road? Well, rental house is okay. At least you're on site, in location. We'll take that. No furniture until tomorrow, so you're just playing camp out for now? I believe that. I'm sorry, that's gotta suck. Are you excited about the Wheel of Time adaptation that's coming out, Amy? Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it helps that it's a really large producer that's taking it on, though, and that Brandon Sanderson's been brought on as a advisor. I can't remember if he's an executive producer or just an advisory capacity, but at least the man had some input. Yeah, I hear that. I didn't ever read them when I was younger. They just didn't end up on my radar at all. So when Dave found out that I hadn't read them, he was like, nope, 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 nope. We are going to read them. And so what we decided to do was do them on audiobook because we do a fair amount of long distance traveling. And that way we can kind of read them together, as it were. It's maybe not the best format for me because audiobooks have a tendency to make me nod off. So there's chunks of the books that I am very only partially aware of or not aware of at all. But for the most part, it's working out okay. It's sure an enormous cast of characters. Like, he has really excelled at creating a world that is full of people and really details a lot of his world building incredibly well in terms of clothing and customs and architecture and geography and all of that. So that's pretty inspiring as someone who likes to write themselves. But also sometimes it's like, wait a second, what all are we keeping track of again? Yeah, I agree with that. I think sometimes the sense of progression is a challenge in those books just because there's so much going on. But yeah, I think like it's worth it and it's fun and it's realistic in its own way because the more people you're going to encounter, the more storylines you're probably going to end up following. But oof, can be a lot. Oh yeah. Well, there's 14 books, is it? Like it's absolutely a journey of things that you're going through for sure, for sure. I think I'm kind of grateful that I'm reading them now because I have a hard time waiting for series to get finished. Like, if it drops off my radar, there's no guarantee that I'm going to go back and finish it unless it was like really, really something that grabbed me and stuck with me. So, knowing that they're all done just gives me the chance to kind of blast through them the way that I prefer to read a series, which is convenient. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing like a really good book series to kind of take you away and inspire you to do things. The maps for Wheel of Time were also really gorgeous. I remember Eric showing me his favorite, which I think was from book four. I'd have to go and actually look in them now. But yeah, the maps I remember seeing and going, ooh, those are pretty, before I really got into making maps of my own. I've been thinking about trying to do a large map for Dave while he's gone, just as a gift. And I was initially thinking like doing it of Greyhawk because that's one of his favorite settings for D&D, and that would be really cool and go with all of the gaming stuff that we have in our living room. But doing a Wheel of Time map might also be equally appropriate. I think he'd probably dig that. So many options. Need to think them all through. Hey John, how are you? Dying. Are you still sick? I don't want you to still be sick. Although I realize my wants and desires don't really change the situation in a material way. Oh, I could see that. I do a lot of association when I'm reading and listening to music at the same time, too. Although I'm worse for associating music with people, which has cost me some of my favorite albums, like during breakups with the loss of friendships or whatever, where it's just like, damn it, now I can't listen to this because memories. Yeah, I'm like that if I'm reading for information. Like, I couldn't listen to anything when I was studying for my thesis. There was just no chance of that. And I know other scholars who, like, watch TV while they're working, and I'm like, excuse me? What? No. How? You are clearly magicians. But that was never me. I think orchestral might be okay. Or even like a language that I don't speak, because there's no point at trying to comprehend. My brain just won't be able to put those puzzles together. The music from Cirque du Soleil is surprisingly good that way because it's written to be vocal, but not it's written to be intelligible deliberately, which I think is really cool. It must be super challenging to learn how to sing. Like, I'm really not sure how that goes on, but I love the idea that it's designed that way deliberately. That is very odd, I think, John. Like, to me, that's almost stranger because then you have other words competing with your words. Do you listen to stuff that you know really, really well when you write, or do you listen to, like, things you've never heard before? Yeah, I have playlists for my stuff too. It's particularly useful when you're trying to, like, capture a mood or something and you have to come back to it multiple times, or at least I find. Fair. Isn't it amazing that we can keep like pockets full of music now with the advent of phones? Honestly, one of my favorite innovations to happen in the course of my life. Walkmans and Discmans were great, but they were big. And the portability of a phone with like this sheer amount of storage we now have for our phones is such a benefit if you're someone who listens to a lot of music. Sometimes just like a turn of phrase in lyrics or the atmosphere that something puts together is just like, yes, please. That helps my brain in creative ways. Two Steps from Hell is fabulous. I didn't know about them until a couple of years ago, and then we were on a road trip, some friends of mine and I, to go to British Columbia, and they were just playing it in the car, and I was in the back seat, and then I was like, "What is this? Because this is great." It's very much like a movie soundtrack style, and I love that. Like, it was just super fun. Super fun. Yay, getting close to the end. Woot, 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 woot. I don't know if you've necessarily heard of them, but I'm positive you've heard them, Gary, because Kaylin and Bianca used to play them all the time. So you've probably heard them, like, just at a party or whatever at their place. I think you'd probably enjoy it. It's very worth checking out. And just from what I know of your musical tastes. Alright, you guys. I think I've won. So I think that is going to be it for the landmass on this one. I'm probably going to go scan it as a black and white, and then I think I might spend some time coloring it just to see. It could be fun in color, right? We'll see. And we're at about an hour, so yay, meet my goals for the day. So I am going to go, and I hope that you guys each have an excellent day doing whatever you're working on. And I hope that I am able to live stream next week. I'm not 100% sure that that's going to happen right now, just because Dave is going to be on leave for his 2 weeks off before he goes to Latvia. So if he is just hanging out at home and I can spare the time, then I definitely will come and do the live stream and hang out with you guys. If we decide we're traveling to go see his parents or something like that, then I will not be here. But I will for sure post what's going on the Facebook page so that everybody knows. And once he has departed, then I will be back here regular. So I'm going to take off. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. John, feel better. And I will catch you next time. Thanks so much for hanging out.